Hi, my name is Alexandra Marshall. I'm 18 years old and a freshman at Surrey. I'm making this so I can tell you guys a little bit about who I am. And to start that off, I'd like to tell you some of my favorite things. My favorite movie has to be Napoleon Dynamite. And for its subtle humor and dry humor is what makes it funny to me. That is something that developed my sense of humor, and it's something that my family rewatched over and over again. And I know almost every line from the movie, which I'm not sure if that's impressive or not, but yeah, that movie is something that developed my sense of humor, and I find it hilarious. So my favorite TV show has to be one of two. My first one is Criminal Minds, and that developed what I want to do in the future. It made me realize I want to go into behavioral science and criminology to study criminals, I guess you could say, because the way I see it is I want to know how people think and why they think what they think. The whys are always very important to me. And that show has an amazing cast, amazing character build-ups, and just an amazing plot line. And the second one has to be Golden Girls. Now, Golden Girls is very cheesy, and it is old, but this is a show that I love, and it's very lighthearted, but at the same time, it tackled topics that were very controversial at the time, such as the AIDS crisis, such as acceptance of gay people, and also addiction, which is insane considering how fun it is. The show, that is. But the show was just a very fun show that was very progressive for its time. One of my personal heroes has to be Beyonce. Beyonce created an image of herself and of confidence, and she portrayed that to the rest of the world in a way that they believed it too. And just because she had confidence and believed what she was showing other people believed it too, which I think is absolutely amazing. She created a hierarchy in a way, which I'm not saying I necessarily agree with, but she created herself in a way that she is amazing and she is godlike. And to me, that just shows you can do anything if you believe in it and if you're confident enough to portray it to the world. Another thing about me is I like acting. Acting has always been a passion for me, and it may be something I end up doing in time to come. And for me, acting has always been somewhere where I can portray another person, if you will. And I love being able to fulfill a character and to entertain a group of people. But as I've always done stage acting, if I were to do it in the future, I would probably go towards film acting. Probably along the lines of indie films or independent films. Just because I make mistakes a lot. I'm very clumsy. I just don't think about things sometimes. For instance, one time when I was acting in a play, my character was very ditzy, but so am I. I was supposed to run through a doorway that was a wall built by our crew. It wasn't a real wall, but there was a door in it. I guess my perception or something was off, because I ran straight into another person, which took both of us straight into a wall. And everyone thought that was on purpose because my character was so ditzy, but it was an accident. But I heard the audience laugh, so I thought it was okay. And it was. Everyone enjoyed that part. But if I were to portray a more serious role and I was to mess up like that, I would probably be mortified. And that is a reason why I would go into film acting, because I would be able to have more than one take. Another thing I really like to do is, I like to call it adventuring. And by adventuring, I mean just going places, trying new things, going to a new restaurant, going to a new city or a town, or going to the mountains or the beach, just somewhere different where I can have a different experience. I went to New York for the first time in October of last year. Yes, and it was absolutely amazing. I was able to see a whole new cultural view, if you will, and I was able to see a whole different way of living. And comparatively, I live in Winston-Salem, and for this area, that is a big city. But when I was in New York, I was overwhelmed by all the traffic, all the people who had things to do. They all had a purpose, and there was no Southern hospitality, which is very different. But for me, I loved seeing that new culture, and I would love to develop that and educate myself on different cultures. And that's a little bit about what I like. To continue on to the whole criminology subject, I want to go into criminology in the future, and once I'm done at Surrey, I want to transfer to a 4-year school, and my choice for that is probably Johnson C. Smith University, which is in Charlotte, North Carolina, and they have a really good criminology program, and with that, I want to hopefully study the prison system. And what I mean by that is I want to study the ways that the prison system has failed and the ways that it can be improved, because I believe prisoners are people, of course, but I think that they can become functioning members of society, and we as a society can close or minimize the recidivism rates. And that is what I want to do, but that's not a guarantee. And I'm still considering all the choices I have of all the things that I would like to do. And for me, that is just something big. A moment from my family that I would like to tell you guys about that's kind of shaped who I am today is when I saw my mom get married to my stepdad. Now, of course it was beautiful, but for me, I saw my mom get something that I never thought she would fully have, and that's happiness. She thought after her and my father got divorced that she would never find that happiness, but when she got married, I know that she had everything that she had ever wanted, and that was such a beautiful moment for me to see my mother just be in full joy. So that's very important. Another interesting thing about me that I think a lot of people should know, or a lot of people do, I've been in 3 car accidents in the last year and 2 months, and totaled 3 cars. Now, not all of those were my fault, of course, but that is something that's very interesting about me. Not a lot of 18-year-olds have been in 3 accidents, especially in that small time frame, and I will say that 2 of them were with inanimate objects. So take that as you will. But this has been a little bit about me, and I hope you guys really enjoyed hearing a little bit about who I am as a person. Thanks!